the world. Welcome to Radio Works World. This is your host, Neslyn, Neslyn, and today I broadcast from London. I want to share with you my story. I am a beautiful 67-year-old, and I came to England in 1969 from Jamaica with that burning passion to be a nurse and to return to Jamaica as a public health nurse, which is what we call health visitor in England. My desire was to support and enable people to be their very best in terms of their health, their very best in terms of how they think about themselves. And from a very early age, if you were with me at age 10, you would have seen me sitting on my veranda, deep in thoughts. And as I look up, I was startled by this very tall man looking down on me. And this man was my papa. And he said, Neslyn, stand for something, live for something, have a purpose. And that purpose keep in view. Little did I know how impactful those words were going to be about living for a purpose and having a purpose. And so you see me years later. I am now 19 years old and I entered England to be trained as a nurse. Well, fast forward, I have been very successful. I have, you would see me being trained as a midwife and had wonderful times as a midwife. You would have seen me as a very active health visitor, and you would have heard my manager saying, Neslyn, it seems as if you have actually come here to change the world. That was how I felt. I had a very burning passion to link social services and to link health services and education to really serve the individual better. And so I became very active in policy making. You would have seen me graduating from that, moving into health promotion. And in health promotion, you would have seen me with a responsibility for coordinating health services with voluntary services and education to bring about a better perspective for the child and the reduction of child accident. And so you would have seen me again being very successful. And then moving on, I retrained as a teacher because I recognized how important it was to have that in-depth knowledge of how to build the curriculum. By that we mean the structures and processes of education, for education to be its very best. Again, you would have seen me as a very blessed and very successful person. And years later, having been a principal lecturer, you would have also have seen that during all these years, I became very interested in psychology, and I studied psychology and had my first degree, honors degree in psychology. And then years later, moving on from education, I went back to the health service because I was excited about the very new ways in which nurses were going to be trained with a focus on health. And I thought, this is my purpose, this is my calling. And so I went back to the health service and had a wonderful time with, I applied for a post. You would have seen me applying for this post, and the telephone call, Neslyn, there is good news and there's bad news. What do you want first? And of course, what would you have said? I'm sure you would have said, give me the bad news first and finish with the good. And that's exactly what I did. And so the bad news was I was not appointed for the post for which I applied. The good news, we want to appoint you and we would like to use the range and depth of your skills. And so we want you to write the job description and determine how much you want to be paid. Well, have you ever had 2 Christmases coming at once? That's how it felt. 2 Christmases coming at once. And so within this role, the responsibility was to develop a modular degree program for nurses who had not yet got a degree. By now, I had a first degree, I had 2 master's degree, and having worked in education and have been coming back as a principal lecturer from education, I knew exactly what was needed in the university sector. So 6 months later, my manager said to me, "You have achieved more in 6 months than I expected you to achieve in 2.5 years." And so the development that I had done for the modular degree programs, you would have seen accreditation taking place. The 5 modules were accredited by the then English National Board for Nursing, Midwifery and Health Visiting, and also by the then Council for National Academic Awards. It was so unusual to have all 5 modules accredited with no exceptions. There was nothing else to add, there was nothing to take away. And so I was literally walking on air as a beautiful, successful woman. Have you ever felt the rug being pulled from under your feet? This is what comes up for me next. With reorganization, a new manager came in. And this new manager said, "Neslyn, I find you threatening because you are Black, you are a woman, and you are intelligent, and I am going to block you." She was honest. How many times have people felt that they have been blocked? They have come up against a glass ceiling, but they can't really put their finger on it. Well, this manager was open with me. She was honest. She said, "I find you threatening." You know, she was threatened by me. I had a first degree, I had 2 master's degree, and I was qualified right across the full spectrum of nursing, midwifery, health visiting. I was also a qualified teacher, both in education and a qualified teacher for nurse education. My post was Assistant Director of Nurse Education for continuing education. She was threatened by me. However, I wasn't going to allow this to be my spiraling downwards. I reported her. However, having reported her, the decision for me was not to take her through industrial tribunal and things like that. By now, I felt I was bigger than that. What I used to do during my weekends, I used to do voluntary work for what was then called the Industrial Society, which is now called the W.O.R.K.S Foundation. And I had won an ESSO scholarship around personal development. So I had a lot of personal development under my belt. I decided then that this is the time to take your passion out there into the world. And so you would have seen me going out with my passion and setting up my business. And in 1989, I set up my business, which is called Beacon Organizational Development. And I then, you would have seen me putting a lot of energy into the Royal College of Nursing because I was so passionate about development. And so I chaired a committee also around the recognition of Mary Seacole. And as a result of that work, I was able to bring in from the government £250,000 to establish the Mary Seco Leadership Development. And at the same time, I developed a leadership demonstration program for the National Health Service Executive. And you would have seen me going across the country delivering my leadership programs. And because I had this breadth and depth in terms of health services, education, and psychology, I was brilliant. I have to sound my own trumpet here. And you would have seen later, you would have seen me before an elderly lady, a well-recognized lady. And you would have heard these words, Neslyn, I command you, commander of the British Empire. I command you, member of the British Empire. And now I give you my own medal, the Queen's Medal. So I have been honored 3 times by Her Majesty, the Queen Elizabeth II, 3 times for the work that I have done. And in addition to leadership development programs within the NHS, I have spent 25 years as a non-executive director on NHS boards, including 10 years as a chairman of a commissioning organization, NHS Kingston. You would have seen me being responsible for a budget of £300 million. You would have also heard at during 2006 to 2008, when there was this very difficult financial situation within the NHS, you would have seen the challenges that I face in turning around a deficit of £21.5 million and turning that around within 2 years. And at the end of the 2 years, had a £5 million surplus. And so I have been blessed in so many ways. I have begun to write, and now you will see some of my books, and one of my books is called The Beacon Technique from Impossible to Possible. You'd also have seen another of my books, which is talking about the Beacon Technique, 6 ways to experience your joy. And that is very much more about relationship skills. And so the significant message that I have is that never, ever, ever let anyone define who you are and what successes you can have. You know, it was Eleanor Roosevelt who actually said, no one can put you down unless you actually give them permission. From the spiritual side, I have also learned that, you know, irrespective of the challenges that one faces, behind that, the universe is ever leading one to even more and more and more fulfillment. And so follow your heart, live your purpose, be open to the magic of the universe, because when things appear as if things are going very wrong, when I felt the cushion or the rug being pulled away from under my feet, that was also a blessing. It was an opening. I couldn't see where that was leading, but that gave me the freedom to come out of an institution and to go out and to express the gifts that the good Lord had given me. And so I live my life with passion. I give appreciation for all that I have. I give appreciation for the people I meet, and I feel blessed. And over to you, Marina, because I think this is enough. I could say more, but my key message is that live with passion, live your purpose, and be open to the magic of the universe. Over to you, Marina.
Wow. What can I say, Neslyn? You know, you are such a beautiful, amazing, extraordinary woman. And, you know, the true beauty is reflected in your soul. And you carry your soul and you give it to everyone. You share it because you are so abundant. You have everything. And you are telling everyone, if I have everything, you have it all. And, you know, this beauty that grows within you and is contagious. This beauty brings the light into other people's cloud and brings the light into other people's dark sky. And how many times you've been there, how many times you felt trapped into a dark place, and how many times you had to pull yourself out from that deep hole where other people wanted you to stay. But you said, no, I know who I am, and I'm not going to let other people tell me who I am. I'm going to tell them what I'm made of. And you did, Neslyn. And wow, I'm so humbled to listen to your story. It's such a privilege. And it's not only for me, but I'm sure our listeners are feeling your words and feeling your energy, and they understand that life is an adventure. Life is something you have to go for it. And look at you. Look at you, how far you came. And this is just the beginning, if you ask me, Neslyn. So tell me what is exciting? What is exciting that's happening in your life right now? Inspire us all, please.
Well, you know, what is exciting in my life right now is that I am closer and closer to God. I have always been interested in supporting my community to grow and develop. And some years ago, again, it's around the 2006 time, I was introduced to a gentleman who actually wanted to bring in more people into the media from minority ethnic communities. And cut a long story short, later on, I wanted to support that vision. And I gave £500,000 of my own money. Every penny that I have given to supporting that development. But it was a two-way. It was about bringing more people from Black and minority ethnic communities into the media. But at the same time, a significant amount of that money went to supporting young Black boys who were caught up in gangs and crime. Because I wanted them to understand that they don't have to live a life of crime, that the good Lord did not create them to kill others and to do things that are not of the highest good. And so, as I said, I've given away all of my money. And I am now at that stage where I know that the Lord is my shepherd. I shall not want. So I am learning to be open, even more open to the magic of the universe, and to see how God provides in very mysterious and blessed ways. On the one hand, you could say, how could Neslyn be so stupid? And on the other hand, I say, well, it could be seen as being very stupid. And sometimes I get quite petrified about it, to be honest about it. However, I knew that at the time, what I did was what was meant to be. Complete. Oh, back to you, Marina.
Wow, Neslyn, you definitely are the person who reflects the passion within. And you know, I was thinking today that once you open at least the window into your own heart, you'll suddenly feel the breeze, you'll feel the calling, you'll know where you are going next. Because if you stay in the same room where it's comfortable because of your financial situation or because of the comfortable cushions you are sitting on, and you don't go out, you don't turn yourself into a window for other people, what's the point? You are creating your legacy. And I didn't know this story. I didn't know the sacrifices you made, the commitment you made for the greater good. And I'm really feeling almost like congratulating you. I'm thinking, what's money? Money is what we make of it. So same with time. Time is nothing, doesn't even exist until we make something out of it. And this is your legacy. You are living your legacy. So because you are coming to a close on our show today, and I'm really, really hoping you are going to come back and we'll have a regular show. So tell me, what is your one story that happened, that one moment in your life when you decided, enough, now I'm going to live my life on my own terms?
That was when my manager said, my then manager said, I find you threatening because you're Black, you're a woman, you're intelligent, I'm going to block you. That was the one moment that made me come to that awareness that it's not for another person to define who I am. It is for me and my Creator to define who I am. And I know that my best work is yet to be done, Marina, because one of my big goal at the moment is to open a foundation to support women in particular who have had lots of successes, but yet within themselves, they know that there is more to give. And so one of my books is about career transition for the executive, the ultimate guide. So I want to create a foundation for the transition of people who have had very successful lives, but they still have not yet lived their passion. And so I'm going to start crowdfunding, and I am going to bring 30 million pounds together. How? I do not know how I'm going to bring that money together. However, I know that there will be a start when that foundation is giving something back, because I believe in living with passion. I believe in leaving a legacy. So the leaving of that legacy will be the foundation. Back to you.
Wow, Neslyn, you know what? I think each one of us got it all. Each one of us, every single person I ever met, they already had it all and they couldn't see it. But I think what is missing in the world is inspiration. And inspiration is in very short supply. I keep saying this and I can't help it. So you are such a great leader. You are now back to square one and you are endorsing your own vision. You've done it before, you've done it many times. The Queen admitted that you are an exceptional leader and she celebrated you. So what is the world doing? The world have to understand that what your vision is going to create in a world is a better world, and is going to impact, is going to influence, and is going to engage with the people who need you the most. So right now is all about spreading the passion, creating the ripple effect. Talk to everyone who knows somebody who needs help and somebody who could offer help, and get them together. And I'm so taken by your vision. I can even imagine what could happen next. And I'm so grateful you are sharing this with us, and I can't wait to see what's happening next, because everything starts somewhere. And when it starts in your heart, there is no stopping. From both of us, until next time, and I surely feel in my heart already that is going to be a next time, is goodbye.
Goodbye. Thank you so much for this love and opportunity and your vision. You are such a wonderful angel on earth. You are just so beautiful, and all that you have said is just a perfect reflection of you and even more. Mwah. Thank you.
Goodbye.
Goodbye.